Good evening and welcome to the nation's capital for some bonus football. It's NPL Capital Football Round 2, a rearranged game between Tuggeranong United and Canberra Olympic here at the AIS Grassfields. I'm Russ Gibbs, your commentator this evening, and I will be commentating on the game because I have an expert analysis in Frank Keisha with me who's going to keep me in my lane. Welcome, Frank.
Lane. Yep, thanks, Russ. Looking forward to it. We'll do a bit of a Britton Speed, Mark Bosnich cameo.
I promise to have no opinions.
I promise to have no expertise.
So we're here for the one reason that this game was cancelled on the weekend. The weather came through Canberra on the weekend. We were very lucky to get Gungahlin versus Canberra, Croatia underway at Deakin Stadium. You were there with me for that one. It finished 1 apiece. We were quite impressed with what we saw considering the conditions. Yeah,
look, I think I was really impressed that both sides actually took the handbrake off and actually went for the win. Even Canberra, Croatia, when they went down to 10 men a couple of times in the game, they didn't sort of hold back or sit, their 10 players behind the ball. They actually went for the win. So good to see, and it's all makes for a very good season.
Yeah, but both those teams on 4 points, chasing the leading two, Tigers FC and Belconnen both on 6. Both won for the second time this season on the weekend. Belconnen with a narrow 1-0 win over Woden Western, Luca Flores' goal. In a game I was at on Saturday evening, Tigers winning by the odd goal in 3 against Monero Panthers. A third of the season for Julian Borgnay in only his second game. He's in good form.
Yeah, and it was, he's taken his 3 goals pretty well as well. And he'll be another one that we'll be looking forward to this weekend when they take on Canberra, Croatia. An important result, the Canberra, Croatia, Gungahlin result. I think that leaves the door open a little bit for these two teams who lost the first round of the season. They're one win from being, just a single point away from that top 4.
Speaking of the Tigers and Gungahlin United, both of those teams are playing training, I should say, tonight, I should say. They're over on the other side of the field. We might see some of their players come and have a look at this afterwards as we get ready for kick-off here. Let's take a quick look at the two teams, Frank, starting with Tuggeranong United. There's been 2 changes to the side that were beaten 4-0 down in Cooma. Marco Gaia is suspended, of course, so he's out and replaced by Jono Turek. And young Lachlan Moore gets a break. Daniel Felici comes into a back 4. Jacob Wiseman's in goal. Felici on the right. Sam Smith on the left. Regan Walsh partnering young Harrison Bunell in central defence. Cam Doherty in the holding midfield role with Nick Felici and Ewan Peterkin ahead of him. And the front 3 of Eddie Coggan, Jono Turek and Harry Truman. Only 9 NPL goals between them. The 16-year-old Truman, a lot on his shoulders tonight. Yeah, and there are some young players in that Tuggeranong side with some familiar faces there. So Mitch seems to have built a pretty good blend of a bit of experience and some youth coming through. Sean Kitty, James Benevento, Jamie Vienkum and Van Nguyen in line for an NPL debut if he comes on the Tuggeranong bench. Canberra Olympic make 1 change from the side, beaten 2-1 by Belconnen United. It's a midfield change. Jay Kelly out with a hamstring injury. Dimi Paraskos comes into midfield. So it's as you were in the back. Rory Larkin in goal. Nick Faust, Daniel Lindstedt, Lasse Ulrich and Josh Calabria the back 4. Daniel Sparrow partners Paraskos in midfield with Michael Piccolo just ahead of them in the front 3 of Stephen Dominici, Nick Popovic and Isose Hegi champing at the bit to score their first goal of the season, those 3. Yeah, I'd be interested to see how Lasse Ulrich holds up throughout the game because if this game was being played on the weekend, he was pretty much out. So interesting, and a very short backup as well, moving into Saturday when they play Monero. So whether or not Robbie keeps one eye on Lass and how long he can see through this game with a view on Saturday as well. Seb Woods, Dylan Itulu, Jordan Keisha, James Christus and Michael Southern on the bench for the all-blue Canberra Olympic. Referees Georgie Girardello, Scott Boone and Jordan King on the sideline today as we get prepared for kick-off. This weekend, Frank mentioned it briefly, on Saturday afternoon we'll be at O'Connor Enclosed for Monero Panthers versus Canberra Olympic, and on Sunday myself and Lachlan Roberts will make the trip down to Nijong for Tigers FC versus Canberra Croatia. And no small matter of Gungahlin versus Belconnen as well. Yep, the other fixtures on the weekend, and Woden Western play Tuggeranong United at Melrose on the synthetic on Saturday night, or Saturday afternoon, late-ish. 3:45 kick-off that one at Melrose. Nick Popovic with the captain's armband tonight. Yeah, Popper was, he's been named captain at the beginning of the year, so following his father's footsteps, Nagosh, who was captain of Olympic and won a premiership here, and also followed that up last year winning the championship as one of the assistant coaches with Robbie and myself in the coaching team. Tuggeranong United, as we said, started the season with a 4-0 defeat at Tigers FC with 10 men. Mitch Stevens reckons they're a better side than that. Good test for them this evening on a decent surface against the Canberra Olympic side that was smarting, having lost the opening game of the season, the defending league champions.
Yeah, and probably favours Olympic a little bit more, I guess, playing on this surface. I think Mitch sort of alluded to it a little bit in commentary on Saturday night, where he said, not many people like looking forward to going to Canberra, and so having that home ground advantage sort of taken away from Tuggeranong, see how that plays out. But look, like I said, both these teams will be chomping at the bit to get themselves back on track for the rest of the season, and big game in store.
One bonus is that we can't be bothered by Stephen Dominici and Josh Calabria via your text message on the weekends. Frank, they're both out there.
Not by phone anyway.
Tuggeranong with the early attacks. Taking a goal to our right in the first half. Here's a touch for Calabria. Closed down by Coggan. Ulrich. Limped off in the first game of the season. We wondered how long he'd be out for. The answer, not very.
Yeah, so it was looked like an abductor from what I heard. So it usually takes about 10 days, and from what I understand, it may have happened at training earlier in the week. But there you can see he's just struggling a bit just to get the pace of the game and giving away the first free kick of the match.
Good attacking opportunity for Tuggeranong this. They'll be looking for a sharp start. Regan Walsh to take the set piece. Young Harrison Bunell's wandered up to the far post to offer his aerial threats. Jono Chirek's a target in there too. Eddie Coggan loitering around the penalty spot. Can Walsh pick out one in green-white? Swings it towards that far post. Nodded away by Lindstedt, formerly of Tuggeranong United.
And a couple of former Tuggeranong players in the Olympic lineup tonight. You got Nick Forst, Lindstedt and Sosa, the Heggie.
You wouldn't bet against either of them scoring, would you? It tends to happen against the former teams.
And Rory Larkin, actually, as well, just thinking about it.
Probably get a bigger bet on that one. Another free kick.
And Olympic will want to be a bit careful giving away free kicks to Tuggeranong. They're generally pretty good at set pieces. Regan Walsh is one of the better set piece takers in the competition, so I think Robbie will probably be a bit mindful of that right at the moment.
Well, chance from the opposite flank for Walsh to pick out a Tuggeranong shirt. Committed 6 into the penalty area, Tuggeranong here. Walsh swings that towards the far post, and Larkin needed to get a fist on it. Olympic struggling to get out at the moment. Here's Dominici looking to change that. Nice turn. Good challenge though, coming in from Daniel Felici.
And Daniel Felici and Nick Felici both in the Olympic blue last year.
It's a lot of scores to settle against former clubs.
And another ex-Olympic player there is Sam Smith. Sammy got his first grade debut last year at Olympic, and I think the Felici boys have both played a little bit of first grade at Monero before coming to the club.
Calabria in behind the back. Here's a Higgy, and he nipped in briefly, and Jacob Wiseman was there. Good run though from my Cesare Heggie.
Yeah, and a good little ball there from Josh Calabria.
No wind to speak of tonight. It's actually quite a mild evening for Canberra. A couple of frosts over the last couple of days, and this morning it was actually quite mild.
Perfect conditions. Don't think any player could complain about anything tonight around this.
It's an early chase for Truman up against Lindstedt. United looking to create something on that far side. Sparrow was involved. Getting a foot in. Let's flick on with the flag. Will go up here. Offside against Truman. Bright start for Tuggeranong though.
Yeah, good start. I think Mitch will be pretty happy with this. He's got some territorial dominance early. Only a few minutes into the match, but I think it's a good start and good for his young team to settle in early.
Big job for Peterkin and Nick Felici this evening, you'd imagine, in the middle of the park against the likes of Sparrow and Dimi Paraskos. Nodded down by Bunel, picked up by Heggie. It's a chance for Nick Force to get forward. Nice turn by Popovic. Steps away from a couple of challenges, but Tuggeranong are there sharply. Coggan beaten to it by Calabria. A chance on the break for Peterkin. Truman up ahead. Olympic back in numbers. Falls for Doherty.
Important foot there from Sparrow.
Walsh. Doherty. Good press this from Olympic. Nice turn though from Cam Doherty. Gets away from Piccolo. Walsh. Popovic wins it back for Olympic. And Tuggeranong winning that midfield duel at the moment. In a 7-game season, Frank, and I'll ask you this in just a second once this attack peters out with Dominici. Ball down the line to Calabria. Popovic in the middle, Piccolo far post. Pulls it back towards Piccolo. It's going to fall for Stephen Dominici. Real chance this. The deflection takes it in. And Canberra Olympic leads. First of the season for Stephen Dominici. Didn't take long for them to go in front, but the deflection helped a lot. It's Tuggeranong 0, Olympic 1.
So 6 minutes in, and Stephen Dominici, don't know, do we call that an own goal? No, we'll leave it with him. He's done well, but really well constructed goal. They've won that ball around halfway. Josh Calabria has made the break. Intelligent ball in. Piccolo nearly picked up the pieces and scored the first. Deflections come back out to Stephen Dominici, who's fired it in. Copped a little deflection that's taken at top corner, but was well on its way to hitting the target.
Not unearthly for Jacob Wiseman once he took a deflection, but when it fell to Dominici in that position, you just expected the outcome, didn't you?
I was almost surprised that Stephen didn't take it first time, but very composed in front of goals. I mean, you've got the stats there. Russ, he's scored a mountain of goals in this competition. He's done it again.
128 NPL goals in 135 appearances for Stephen Dominici. I was ribbing him before kickoff that he hadn't scored this season in one game.
I'm sure Mitch Stevens was happy about that.
Just goes to show what Olympic can offer, though. One break, one goal. Here they come again. Dominici running at Felici. His gander will be up this evening after that, you'd think. Eddie Coggan wins it back, and off he goes. Coggan up against Dominici. Gets past him. The king of Canberra TikTok, Eddie Coggan, I'm told. 32,700 followers.
Oh, okay.
How many have you got, Frank?
I don't even have the app.
If there's anybody out there in football world that's got more than 32,700 TikTok followers, feel free to let us know. Calabria. Parascos. Good hustle that by Nick Felici. He's forced bringing it forwards. Piccolo. Heggie's on the burst, and he's got him behind here, Associate Heggie. And he's got the pace to get away. The angle's narrow. Fires it across goal, but there's no one there in a blue shirt. And Dominici can't pick up the pieces. Really good run from Associate Heggie. Really good ball. And a wasted opportunity.
Yeah, Stephen was sort of watching it halfway, and Popovic had made the run into the box, but Associate didn't get his head up and look up. Pretty much just blazed a trail towards the goal. Good hand there from Wiseman, though.
Dominici fires it across. United living on a knife's edge at the back at the moment. And they started so well, didn't they, in that one break, and it all comes undone.
Yeah, but credit to Mitch for his side not sitting back and attempting to play.
Here's Calabria firing it across goal. Real chance for two. It's a Heggie, and he's missed it. What an opportunity to score against his former club from Associate Heggie. It looked harder to put it wide.
Yeah, that's a big chance missed. Yeah, that's similar to the Calfas miss on the weekend. If anything, maybe a slightly bit easier.
Walsh looks to send that forward and let off for Tuggeranong. Truman is offside, which is a shame for the youngsters. He was in on goal. But yet another warning for Tuggeranong, how they've got in so easily down this right-hand side at the moment.
Yeah, to be fair, both wings have been exposed a little bit, because even the ball from Piccolo into a Heggie, 30 seconds before that chance, went down the opposite side. But yeah, Stephen Dominici's terrorising Nick Felici down this wing at the moment.
Popovic trying to get in behind Walsh. He's bundled him off the ball, and Walsh tried to have to go back, but here goes Popovic. Still going, Nick Popovic. Good run this. Dominici the option. In towards Piccolo. Back to Paraskos, trying to force his way through, rather muscular approach. He's still got there, Dimi Paraskos. And Popovic will chase this with Wiseman, who carries it outside his area, and it'll be a free kick for the nudge.
Olympic have got a good record of this particular pitch as well, Russ. We played the Institute here a number of years previously and got good results, and even last year when we played Gungahlin, another good result here on this particular pitch.
Generally do quite well against Tuggeranong as well. In 3 of their last 4 matches, they've scored 3 goals. And they're well on the way to doing that again this evening.
Yeah, well, I remember pretty much the first year I took over at Olympic, I think it was 2015, our first game was against Tuggeranong and we won 6-0 out at Canberra, and Catanat scored 3 and Bernardo Madrid scored 3. Boys like that tend to make you look good, mate.
Not many sides win 6-0 at Canberra. That's a dead cert. And maybe that's a little bit of a disadvantage for Tuggeranong playing on this surface this evening as opposed to their home ground where they would have been on Sunday, which, as we've mentioned in commentary loads of times before, is not an easy place to visit for any team in Canberra.
Yeah, and that's not to say Tuggeranong can't play on these.
No, absolutely not. No.
It's just the surrounds and the environment. You've got your home crowd. I mean, we've got basically,
Sparrow swings it in. Real chance for Dominici for 2, and he's missed his kick. Still not away. Piccolo. Ihegi, it's opening up again for him, and that's a good challenge. And it needed to be by Harrison Bunell, and it's a corner kick, and Canberra Olympic look likely every time they go forward at the moment.
Yeah, they just can't get complacent in front of goal, though. That's two really good chances there. They could actually put this game to bed so early, but now still sitting at 1-0, still leaves the door ajar for Tuggeranong.
Olympic have plenty of numbers forward. That's swung in towards Paraskos with the header, nods it down, chance here, and it's dropped onto the crossbar. It could be 2, and Wiseman's back to punch it off the head of Ulrich when it looks certain to score. I think originally it came off of Josh Calabria, didn't it?
Yeah, again, that was a very, very good chance for Olympic to go 2-0 up. Another chance squandered, I guess.
One of those ridiculous stats that will go down as a shot off target, even though it came back off the crossbar. Danger not over yet.
Looking very ominous, though, Olympic at the moment.
Plenty of height in this Olympic team. I'm sure Jimmy Canaridis and Monero Panthers are watching this evening, ahead of their clash on the weekend, looking to pick up whatever they can. Flatter delivery this time and sliced wide at the near post by Felici for another corner.
Yeah, so if Jimmy is watching, good evening, Jimmy.
Sparrow over the ball. Piccolo's gone short. It is with Piccolo. Sparrow was free. It's found his way to Piccolo again, and this time it's gone to Sparrow, who swings that left foot at it, and Wiseman needs to come and collect.
3-on-3 up here.
Send it forward. And here's a chance for Truman. Looking for support. They've lost out again, Tuggeranong, and a chance for Olympic on the break. Popovic. Dominici on the opposite flank. Looks in the mood tonight, Stephen Dominici. That's always an ominous sign for the opposition. Here's Calabria. Acres of space for him to go forward and pick a ball towards Popovic. Is a decent one too, and here's a chance in the penalty area for Dominici to dance his way into the box. And another Olympic move, promised much and results in a corner.
Good to see Michael Piccolo actually getting forward tonight. Played in a deeper role against Belconnen, but sort of looks like he's been unleashed in that number 10 role tonight, and he's got forward into the box a number of times and looking like he could pick up something.
Well, after that early 5-minute spell where Tuggeranong put a lot of pressure on, it's been all Canberra Olympic. They lead through that goal from Dominici, and they could have had more. Swung in towards Lindstedt on the far post. Falls for Dominici. Lifts into the area. It's bouncing around. It might come here for Popovic, and it ends up in the arms of Jacob Wiseman.
Just been reminded as well that Nick Popovic is a former Tuggeranong player.
So many former players all around the place.
Thank you, Alex.
Here's Nick Forst bringing it forwards. Popovic. Finds a Heggie. It's won by Felici. It's got runner ahead of him. It's a chance for Eddie Coggan here. Got the shot away, but the sting was taken out of it by Lasse Ulrich. Good chance, that.
Yeah, and that's what Olympic need to be careful of. You know, they've had a number of good chances to go 2-0 up, 3-0 up. There's still 1-0, and any opportunity like that with people like Coggan and Turek in the side can easily have this game turn on its head. But that's some ball from Sparrow.
Fantastic pick from Sparrow to Ehegi. Asked him to stretch his legs and run at this Tuggeranong defence. Almost slid it across towards Popovic, and Bunel was in the way. Tells me his name comes from Jersey origin. So a bit of a French background there. Harrison Bunel, the young central defender in his maiden NPL season. No free kick given there, surprisingly. Should be one for that. Sparrow left one in. Probably not happy on the decision he didn't get earlier.
No, it wouldn't have been, but again, like that's something that Robbie will probably be a bit annoyed about, like just giving the ball away there, or giving a free kick away there when they're pretty needless. But understand, we've all played it. You can get frustrated and give away free kicks like that.
Well, Bunel gets himself out of trouble. Felici goes home. Wiseman under pressure. Can only send it out of play. Last time these two sides met was in round 13 last year. Stephen Dominici opening the scoring on that occasion. Nick Popovic made it 2-0. A Regan Walsh penalty, but Tuggeranong back into it. And Andrei Janchevsky sealed the points in stoppage time.
There's also a Regan Walsh missed penalty in that game too, I think.
It's a game we covered on Bar TV Sports as well. It was, wasn't it?
Wasn't me, mate. I was busy that day.
You were doing something else. I can't remember what it was. Good ball forward, and the flag should stay down here against Coggan. He's got him behind. Opportunity for Tuggeranong United, and that is a good recovery tackle from Josh Calabria. And not only has he denied Coggan a shooting opportunity, he's won himself a goal kick.
Yeah, that's an outstanding challenge from Josh. Probably a little bit annoyed with himself that Coggan managed to get goal side of him to start off with, but the recovery run, the tackle is well timed, and managed to win a goal kick as well.
Had to time it to perfection and did just that. And Popovic could have gambled then.
It was a good ball there from Lasse.
Walsh missed it. Here's Doherty. Got to lift his team. Should be easy for Larkin. Walsh. Felici beaten to it by Popovic. Dominici infield to Paraskos. Sparrow. But the Energizer buddy, isn't he? That's a good ball forward towards Piccolo, who's made the run and stayed on side. Can he deliver something now, Michael Piccolo? Into the area, and it's fairly tame in the end. Another good run, though.
Yeah, and that's what we were sort of speaking about before with Piccolo getting forward.
Here come Tuggeranong with Felici. And Coggan looking to burst through that gap, and that time couldn't shake off the challenges, but they've looked decent when they've got into those kind of positions, haven't they? The final ball's just not quite come off for Tuggeranong at the moment.
The front three are really sort of rolling the dice and playing off the shoulder of the Olympic back four, and really sort of starting to cause some issues if they do get in behind.
Good ball that from Paraskos to find Calabria, who's galloping down this left flank. Looking for support now. Dominici. Ulrich. Look, a switch of play from him as well. Decent ball out to Heggie.
Doesn't seem to be worried about his injury at all, so that's a good sign for Olympic.
Ulrich finds Calabria. Popovic ahead. Dominici. Popovic. Good challenge by Daniel Felici. It's with a blue shirt again, though. Ehegi looks for Nick Fost on the run. And that's good covering by young Bunel. He slipped, though. Just teasing for a moment.
Olympic boys were screaming at Sosa to press on while that was all happening.
Well, they've still got it on the edge of the box here for Popovic, looking to shape a shooting chance. Calabria. Dominici. Calabria's continued his run. Real chances for Josh Calabria, but he's blazed it well wide when there was two in the middle looking for the square ball.
Yeah, and to be perfectly honest, Russ, I think we've probably seen Olympic create more chances in this first 15, 20 minutes and combine more often in that final third than we did in the entire match against the Paul Make-or coached Belconnen side.
The league leading Blue Devils.
The league leading.
As I was saying a bit earlier, I was going to bring you in on this point, Frank. In a 7-game season, what we've got before we break top 4, bottom 4 for a secondary competition for finals. If you want to be in that top 4, you can't really. You're playing catch up, aren't you? If you've lost the first 2, which we spoke about, Monero Panthers extremely unlucky to lose the first 2, but they're playing catch up now, aren't they?
Yeah, and this is what we said even at the Belconnen game against Olympic. Once Olympic lose to Belconnen, they now have to beat sides that Belconnen lose to. So if say for example Gungahlin get over the top of Belconnen this weekend, then it becomes for any chance for Olympic to catch up to Belconnen, they need to get that result against Gungahlin. So it makes it very, very difficult.
Panthers looking to kickstart their push this weekend against Olympic. Olympic side that may have played 90 minutes of tough football tonight as well, so anything could happen there on the weekend. What is guaranteed is you'll see it live on Bar TV Sports.
It's good play.
Good switch again. Dominici, here goes Calabria, outnumbering Felici again. If Calabria can stretch to keep it in. Swung it into the penalty. A good chance for Piccolo, and he nods it wide. Didn't test Wiseman.
And Pix is the one that actually hit that 50, 60 metre pass to Dominici from the other side of the field to get Calabria in, overlapping, and made his way in the box. He needs to do better with that header, but the fact that he's getting forward the way he is good signs for Olympic.
And poor Daniel Felici needs a bit of help down this flank. It's often 2-on-1 and he can't really do a lot about it, can he? You can have an opinion on that, Frank. I can't.
Look, I don't know what Mitch has probably told them to take a chance. If the fullbacks do get forward, stay up front, and we'll try to get you isolated if we do win the ball back. But if Calabria continually overlaps and Colgan doesn't chase back, then they're asking for trouble.
Challenge on Smith. The left back. It's Nick Felici. 2 blue shirts around him though, and Sparrow comes away with it. Smith is back to tidy up. And Wiseman sends it forwards. Calabria down to Linstead, and Roy Larkin's turn to send it up the other end.
Very good header there from Calabria. Under immense pressure from Colgan.
Challenged by Felici as well. Doherty.
Halfway through the first half, Russ.
Chance for Peterkin, perhaps. A lot of space out wide to Truman. Can the youngster pick out a Tuggeranong shirt? Finds Nick Felici. Daniel Felici turning the tables on Calabria at the moment. Decent ball into the area. Ulrich with the initial header. Churek was there. Comes out to Felici again. Swung into the near post. And Calabria just smashes it up the park where Popovic brings it down at the night sky. No free kick for that. Apparently Walsh got a touch.
But that was the difference between the Olympic break and the Tuggeranong break, in that Dominici didn't get back. And if Popovic does release that ball either to a Heggie or to the other side to a Dominici, then there's a long way back for young Felici. But good on him for getting forward. I think that's a great sign.
Here's Nick Felici. Peterkin. Daniel Felici. Can't squeeze it past Popovic. And out of position now as Dominici can amble forward. Piccolo's made the run. Lovely little reverse pass to find him. It's with Popovic. Ball swung in towards Sparrow. Might fall for Dominici. And Tuggeranong clear. Loves those little pockets just outside the area with those loose balls, doesn't he, Stephen Dominici?
Yeah, but I think Olympic would want to be getting players in the box. If Popovic isn't the one getting in the box, there's not that breakneck run made from a Heggie or Stephen to actually. Stephen, like you said, would like to pick up things on the edge of the box, but yeah, you need to see other players getting in the box if it's not Popovic.
Into the 26th minute, you're watching live NPL Capital Football, a rearranged round 2 match. Canberra Olympic leading Tuggeranong United 1-0 here in the ACC. Truncated competition this season, as it is for everybody across Australia. Nice touch by Felici to find Doherty. Now space out wide for Peterkin. Tried the first time ball towards Truman, but Nick Falst was there. Parascos. Here's Calabria. Popovic. Dominici. And Parascos. Calabria again. A lot of space for Dominici here, but couldn't bring it in his stride. Made the run, didn't he, into the right position?
Yeah, it was the right ball there from Josh too. Probably came at a pretty good pace there from Stephen. I guess wasn't expecting it to come that quickly to him. Yeah, our crowd's tripled, Russ.
Few people here on the far sides. Most of them sensibly sat at home watching. Here's Piccolo. And the flag is up against Dominici, and that won't count. Just strayed.
I wonder if he left that, if Popovic would have been onside.
It looked like Popovic may well have been if he had left it. But as it was, easy decision for Scott Boone. But yet another warning for Tuggeranong United. They probably don't need many more.
Good work from Piccolo to win the ball, though. He's having a pretty big game.
Well, as you mentioned, they all look very bright this evening. Here they go again. And it's Parascos from range.
Had players around him, probably a little bit selfish there. Popovic was away, Piccolo was on the shoulder.
His eyes lit up for a moment. Dimi Parascos was part of the ground final team for the Tigers last year. Here's Popovic. Skips past a couple. Nicely left by Piccolo. Good recovery from Sam Smith. Now here's Chirek. Looks to slide it through to Coggan, who's just offside. But it's a dangerous game to be playing that high up the park at the moment. The Olympic offside trap working to a tee, but it only takes one mistake.
I agree, Russ. A little bit square there at the back, but well marshalled though. You've got two very experienced players in Lindstedt and Ulrich at the centre of the defence there. And and absolutely no slouches with Forst and Calabria. Two of the better fullbacks in the competition.
It's a really open game, isn't it? There's plenty of chances and plenty of open opportunities. Most of them coming to Olympic, to be fair, but Tuggeranong have looked lively on the break on occasions. This has found its way through to Piccolo. Tries to go past one, went down, falls for Popovic. Half-hearted shouts for a penalty. Giorgio Girardello wasn't having a bar of that. I think I heard Rory Larkin out of shot saying finish your chances, and must be quite frustrating for him.
Yeah, exactly, and that was something that we sort of last year especially really.
Well, here's Truman trying to get him behind Lindstedt, and there was a bit of a grapple there. Well, that could have gone either way.
Could have gone either way.
And if it had gone Tuggeranong's way, questions would have been asked.
I almost thought he was offside, because to get behind Lindstedt in that position, I would have thought he would have been close to offside. But exactly like you said, Mike, if that's deemed as last man challenge and it's not a football challenge, then all of a sudden that 1-0 lead becomes quite compromised.
Good to see young Harry Truman, though, not afraid to mix it with the centre-backs in NPL. He had a bright pre-season, scored a few goals. Here he is, looks a good prospect. Off he goes on a run.
It's good size. Doesn't look 16.
It's Popovic. Dominici. Faust's made the run ahead of him and he might get in here just over. Hit the pass, Stephen Dominici.
Just one touch too many there from Stephen as well. Just play that ball in the space first time and very hard to catch forced.
When I spoke to Robbie Catanach pre-game to ask what his tactics might be tonight, he said FIFA 20 4-3-3 all-out attack, and he wasn't lying. He's got his full-backs up there trying to get involved as well, and with a little bit more luck and some careful finishing, there may be 2 or 3 goals to the good by now.
Correct.
As it is, Tuggeranong still very much in this football match. And the longer it stays 1-0, the more their confidence will grow that they can get something out of this. Here's Nick Felici. Finds Daniel Felici. Coggan ahead. Firm challenge up from Sparrow. Free kick awarded. Against Daniel Felici.
And is that Paraskos now? Or Lars?
It's Lars Ulrich.
Yeah.
Just sorting his socks out, I think.
I'm not sure if he is.
Yeah, he didn't look bad. It didn't look good. And it looks like we're going to get a change here. So maybe this is a recurrence of what's happened in the first match.
Yeah, and this is always going to be the danger, I think, that they roll the dice with last playing with the game on Saturday.
Well, he's not seeing this one out. He's walking across to the sideline, which in some respects, I guess, is a good thing as far as Olympic are concerned. 32 minutes in, that he's got enough in him to walk to the sideline. It's not that bad. Michael Southam, this is it? Coming on to replace him?
Yeah, it looks like it.
In the gloom of the floodlights over on the far side, and that's Ulrich straight over the fence to go and get some treatment. And those of Olympic persuasion will be hoping that he's fit for Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, it's, to be perfectly honest, at the moment you'd say it's unlikely. If that's a recurring injury and it's an abductor, then he'll need a couple of weeks, and it may have actually set him back a little bit.
Well, as you mentioned earlier, that pinging crossfield ball that he did, maybe it took a little bit more out of him than we thought at the time. Or maybe just tweaked it somewhere else along the way. As it is, got him just past half an hour. Michael Southam comes on. He was a replacement in round 1 as well. Popovic's touch. Smith volleys it forward. Battle again by Coggan. Won by Southam. Piccolo. Here's Calabria.
It's a good start from Southam.
Sparrow to his right. Might try one from here, Daniel Sparrow, and it had Jacob Wiseman worried for a moment. Always fading away from goal though. Yeah. Not shy of a shot.
No, he isn't, and he strikes the ball as well as anyone in Canberra, to be perfectly honest. Even at training last year, we'd do some work around shooting and finishing. He would be pinging things and you just sit back and think, wow.
He's only scored 3 NPL goals in his career, but he did get an FFA Cup hat-trick for Belconnen United last year. Coggan looking to get in behind Southam. So he does know where the net is, Sparrow. Can find it. Had one of his finest games for Canberra Olympic on this field last year against Gungahlin United in that match that remarkably finished 7-2 to Olympic. Overturned conceding a goal inside the first minute. Here's Peterkin. Nicely done to create a bit of space. Decent ball in as well. Lindstedt won the initial header. Falls for Paraskos to complete the clearance. You remember that one quite well, Frank?
I do.
Doherty back. Walsh.
Oh.
Well, Rory Blarkin's completely misread that one entirely. Was forced to volley it clear. Did quite well in the end.
He'll tell us he meant it. It was
Calabria.
It's a great ball.
Dominici Flags up against Popovic. Just a little triangle, not quite working. There's an element of frustration we can hear in some of these Canberra Olympic voices.
Yeah, and I reckon a lot of that's come from not taking the chances that they had presented to them in the first 10-15 minutes. And I think now that's been compounded with Ulrich going off.
Lindstedt wins that header. Here's Sparrow. Heggy's off again. If Sparrow could have played it through first time. Peterkin almost did it for him. Wiseman clears. Truman with the header. A little shove from Nick Forst gives away the free kick. Peterkin goes early to Chirek. But George Girardello makes him go back.
This is really important now for Canberra Olympic as far as the offside trap that they had employed when Lars Ulrich was on. Southam tends to sit a little bit deeper. So Lindstedt will need to keep an eye on that and really marshal this back four.
Here's Walsh. Truman again. Wiseman again, I should say. Tuggeranong trying to play out, but forced to go long once more. Truman does well to beat Lindstedt. Looking for options ahead though. And Popovic comes back and free kick goes. I thought for a moment Georgia Girardello was going to give that against Truman for handball.
I thought so too, actually. I think one player that might feel himself a bit stiff to be not starting tonight would be Seb Woods, with Jay Kelly being out. I thought he was outstanding against Belconnen. Created a lot.
Scored the goal, of course. No, just within striking range. It's a long way out. Cam Doherty over the ball. The discussion. And the drive at goal from Walsh was a bit too easy in the end for Roy Larkin.
Yeah, but takes that deflection or skids off the surface. I think it's well worth a try though. But yeah, Rory had that covered pretty easily.
Lack the venom really to trouble the goalkeeper. Offside again. Umpteen offsides in this first half. Tuggeranong.
Yeah, and I think that's probably a tactic that Mitch has really sort of instilled in his players tonight, is to play off the shoulders of the Olympic defenders.
Southam under pressure, forced to the error. 7 minutes to the break. Dominici's deflected goal separating the two sides here. Chirek trying to play a through ball to himself. That's one for Popovic to chase. And Bunel comes across to do the defensive work. Tuggeranong without Brandon Cashmore, Daniel Fulton, Jack Rowley, all injured today. Mark Agar suspended and Andrew Slavic unavailable. Quite a roll call.
That's a good set of players, to be honest. I mean, even with just consider Fulton and Slavic just senior first-grade players.
I believe Andrew Slavic is still away skiing. Might be wrong. Here's Sparrow.
Some turn, isn't it?
Beautifully done, and then the ball as well to looking for Heggie behind. Good defensive header by Smith, but it's been left for Piccolo. He's caught late by Bunel. Referee plays advantage. Popovic. Piccolo, time to pick a cross here and finds a Heggie on the far post. Good defensive header again by Peterkin back there. Tuggeranong won a free kick. Advantage played. Felici looks for Coggan over the top, but Calabria wins it. And Sparrow's back there to do what Sparrow does. Tidy up and start the blue attack again. Heggie. One of a number of players that perhaps should have put Olympic up. His miss perhaps the most glaring of them, of the ones that have happened.
Yeah, I think he'd be disappointed with his first touch there as well.
He's made some great runs, hasn't he, off the ball? There's been some opportunities if they could pick him out to get him in behind this Tuggeranong defence as well.
Yeah. I think they've been trying. It looks like they've really singled out these either wings and isolating the fullback and the winger one-on-one, but just hasn't come to fruition at the moment.
Walsh swings that in and it's too close to Rory Larkin. And launches a massive throw up towards halfway. It's further than some keepers can kick. Piccolo, lovely chip over the top to find Popovic. Piccolo's gone for the return, but Felizi read the intentions of Nick Popovic. Here's Peterkin. Walsh finds Truman. Cam Doherty had made a huge run forward there, completely
They get this
unmarked.
ball forward. They've got some joy here, Tuggeranong.
Some good movement from those in green and white. A reminder that NPL football continues on the weekend. 4 matches, all live on Bar TV Sports. The 2 commentated games. Monero Panthers against Canberra Olympic from O'Connor Enclosed, 3 o'clock on Saturday. And on Sunday, a road trip to Cooma as Tigers FC take on Canberra, Croatia. Hopefully in better conditions than Croatia played Gungahlin on the weekends when myself and Frank got a bit wet. Here's Popovic looking to stretch the legs. Good covering by Smith. You wouldn't rather have been anywhere else on the weekend, would you, Frank?
No. To be fair, and hats off to the ground staff at Deakin. They did an amazing job to actually get that game up and running.
Did I see that you got a coffee delivery before kickoff, but because we're so high up here that you didn't get it?
Correct. And
been a bit cool for you at half time.
Yeah, so I think the wife and the youngest have got an extra coffee down there. Half their luck.
You can go and have it at half time, I'm sure it'll be fine. Here's Coggan. Take you about half an hour to get down there and back up again, though, wouldn't it, Frank? It's a long way. It's a high gantry here at the IS. It's a really good view for us. Here's Piccolo.
You'd really want to see Sosa start to get, like, when Piccolo's won that ball, Sosa should be pinning his ears and going.
Calabria. Popovic. Walsh was touch tight and came away with the ball. A little bit of space here for Peterkin. Can he pick a pass? Tried to thread it through the eye of a needle. Paraskos. Oh, he's done well to wriggle away from a couple there, and unfortunately the pass didn't match the initial movement.
Yeah, he did the hard stuff there, didn't he?
Peterkin's touch. Chirek takes it away from Lindstedt. Only Truman there outside him at the moment. And Chirek dawdled on it a bit too long.
Impressive Truman for a young lad. This being his first or second game of the first grade, he's done a really good job against that Olympic back four, and particularly against Nick Forst, who is one of the best, if not the best, right back in the comp.
Felici looks for Daniel Felici outside him. Once again, though, Calabria in the way. Only a second NPL game for Harry Truman. Good find from Mitch Stevens.
Did he come through the grades, Russ? Or?
I think he plucked him from Radford School, where Mitch is a teacher. I think it's Radford, or was it Canberra Grammar School, sorry, I should say. Canberra Grammar. From one of the under-16s groups. Coggan tries to get involved. And apparently he was a regular goal scorer in those grades. Whistle's gone, free kick Tuggeranong, and that's where Harrison Bunell's come from as well, from Grammar, so pays to have the director of football at a little academy like that. It's good to see them getting an opportunity though. There's another 16-year-old, 17-year-old Lachlan Moore in the Tuggeranong setup as well, not involved this evening, but high praise for him as well, high promise, both of them, Moore, Busnell and Truman, all part of the Tuggeranong under-17s, I think it was, or 16s last year. Shooting chance here, perhaps, for Walsh as we approach half-time. Doherty's behind it as well. Skipper might fancy this on his left foot, or will it be Walsh up and over the wall? Roy Larkin might be called into action here. It's likely to be Walsh. It is Walsh, straight into the wall. Sparrow gets him in the way, and here's a chance on the break for Popovic. Wanted to go long, but only Dominici was ahead. And for once, Canberra Olympics communication lets them down.
I don't think it's just the communication, Ross, at the moment.
Peterkin steps away from the challenge. Nicely done. Looks for support from Daniel Felizi. Goes back to Walsh.
Good effort from Dominici. Last few seconds of the half, Ross.
Into stoppage time at the end of the first 45 minutes. Still that deflected goal from Dominici, the difference. Tuggeranong ending the half on the front foot. Can they snatch an equaliser before the break? Chirek tried to slide it through, went for a 1-2 that didn't come off for him. Popovic running at young Bunil, who gets a foot in.
You can sense the frustration in the Olympic throughout the midfield and forward line especially. You can see they're just not happy with the way things are going.
Space for Felici. Can't be too long to add on at the end of this first half. Here's Nick Felici. Gets away from Paraskos far too easily. Looks to slide it through for Chirek, who couldn't take it in his stride. But once again, that looks a good avenue for Tuggeranong.
Yeah, and he's a good prospect. Both Felici boys a really good prospect. Nick Felici especially has come through the ACTAS, and that's a poor...
One mistake by Larkin. It might come for Felici. Thought about the shot for a moment. Brings Peterkin into play instead. Oh, and there's a mix-up between him and Chirek. Chirek went and then didn't go, and in the end that peters out, and at half-time Tuggeranong will go in behind. And Frank, it's a bit of funny old game, hasn't it, really, because Olympic dominated for large swathes of that half, and could well, and probably should well, have been more than 1-0 up.
Yeah, to be perfectly honest, if they take their chances in the first 10-15 minutes, the game could almost be over. There's 2-3 good chances apart from the goal itself. Having said that, we did speak, the first 10-15 minutes, Tuggeranong actually were on the front foot, and that last 10-15 minutes as well, Tuggeranong again on the front foot. So I think Olympic had the majority of play in the middle of that section and created the better chances. Rory's only been called into action just with a couple of long-range free kicks, whereas Wiseman's, really been scrambling it a couple of times with good opportunities. So I think it's all to play for, and Mitch Stevens, I think he'll be buoyant with the idea of actually getting amongst them again in the second half. And with Lars Ulrich being out, I think he's got the door ajar a little bit.
So very little for Rory Larkin to do in the Canberra Olympic goal, but the profligacy of the Olympic strikers has kept Tuggeranong in this game. At the break, it's Stephen Dominici's deflected effort early on that separates the two sides at the AIS. At half-time, it's Tuggeranong United 0, Canberra Olympic 1. And welcome back to the AIS on a lovely evening in the nation's capital. Not too cold, not too windy, and we've got bonus football. It's a rearranged NPL Round 2 match between Tuggeranong United and Canberra Olympic. I'm Russ Gibbs, your commentator, and joining me for the second half, as he did for the first, is former Canberra Olympic head coach and now entrenched in the commentary box, Frank Keisha. Frank, Stephen Domenici's deflected goal, the difference, but on the balance of play and merely on chances created, Olympic probably will feel they should be a lot further ahead.
Yeah, I'm sure Robbie would be saying that to them at the change room now that they're coming back onto the park. I think he would have emphasised the importance of taking the opportunities. It is just a one-goal lead. That's a very fragile lead in any competition. So, you know, it's up to the boys now to put away their chances and assert their dominance on the scoreboard.
Well, we'll see if he's made any changes at half-time to help him do that. Tuggeranong United look like they're the same as they were in the first half. Wiseman in goal, Felizi, Bunell, Walsh and Smith across the back. Cam Doherty, Nick Felizi and Ewan Piedick midfield. Coggan, Chirek, Truman. The front three, who did cause Canberra Olympic one or two problems with their movement and their running off the ball. Yeah,
and I think that's a good tactic from Mitch Stevens. He's employed that front three and he's basically asked them to ask questions of the Olympic back four. And I think that's a brave decision and it may pay dividends for him.
Well, it may have gone well on the score sheet. What it hasn't gone well is the loss of centre-back Lasse Ulrich. He lasted 32 minutes of the first half and been replaced by Michael Southam in defence, which means Larkin is in goal. Faust, Lindstedt, Southam and Calabria across the back four. Sparrow, Paraskos and Piccolo the midfield three. Dominici, Popovic and Ihegi up top. Dominici had a great chance to make it two. Ihegi also. Piccolo headed ahead, put a header wide. There were chances aplenty, long-range shots from Sparrow and Paraskos as well, forcing Wiseman into work, but it's still only 1-0. And as Frank said, 45 minutes for Tuggeranong United to find a way back into the game. They are still searching for a goal. Didn't get one in the opening game of the season, didn't get one in a 3-0 loss to Monaro Panthers in a friendly just before the season started as well, and that lack of firepower is a real problem for them. Here's Popovic straight away at the start of the second half, running into the penalty area. Really important foot from Harrison Bunell.
And what a great run there from Josh Calabria getting into the box as well. Fast start from Olympic.
Well, whatever Catnat said, may have had the required words with his team at half-time. What that is a foul throw.
That's got to be a fine. Surely, I think Josh Calabria is in charge of the fines at Olympic. I think he'll be marking that down for Stephen Domenici.
Wouldn't expect to see that at this level, would you, from a player of that experience? Popovic finds Domenici. Half-hearted shouts for handball. Calabria. Lindstedt. Faust. Ihegi lets it go. Piccolo lets it go. Popovic doesn't and slots home the second. It's not taken them very long and they've doubled their lead. Nick Popovic, 2-0 Olympic.
Fast start from Canberra Olympic. Good ball from Daniel Lindstedt to find the winger. Piccolo's been outstanding, I think, tonight. The little leave there for Popovic. Good defending the initial stage to stop Nick having that first-time strike, but the follow-up left Wiseman with no chance at all.
75 seconds into the second half and Canberra Olympic did what they struggled to do for about 25 minutes after they scored. They finally found a way to take one of the umpteen chances that fell for them, and it's a long way back for Tuggeranong United from here. Canberra Olympic win tonight, of course, wouldn't move them anywhere at the table, just close them up to Croatia and Gungahlin. Smith. Bit crowded. Peterkin went down, wins a free kick against Asose Ihegi.
Important now for Tuggeranong to respond quickly, and just as important for Olympic to consolidate that lead and make sure they don't concede anytime soon.
Well, they huffed and puffed for 90 minutes against Belconnen, did Popovic and Domenici. Couldn't find a way through. Now they're both on the scorecards. Coggan goes down, but that was a slip rather than anything else. He asked the question, rather in hope than expectation, you'd imagine.
And slip was being kind, Ross. But ask the question. And he's a busy player, Coggan. I know he presented us a lot of troubles last year when he was playing against Olympic, especially at Canberra.
Just needs to add a few more goals to his game. Only got 5 NPL goals in 51 appearances. It's part of his game that he threatens to add 2 each season.
Yeah, but at such a young age, already played 50-odd games. It's pretty good.
Well, he's getting into positions, as are Canberra Olympic with Dominici. Popovic squeezes it through for Dominici. Lovely move this. Brilliant from Canberra Olympic. And Stephen Dominici has a double. And they are running away with it now.
Yeah, and we alluded to this last week as well when we were commentating on the Belconnen game. If Dominici and Popovic start teaming up and combining, then that's a really formidable forward line. And very hard to stop.
2 minutes between goals. And Canberra Olympic's 1-0 half-time lead suddenly is more reflective of their dominance in attacking situations in the first half. It's 3-0. Dominici on a hat-trick. It might get ugly for Tuggeranong if they don't tighten up. But there's not a lot you can do about that. That was just quality football, wasn't it?
Yeah. And even we were talking before the game, Russ, we were talking about the goals we scored against Tuggeranong last year with Jancheski and Dominici. Some of our best goals are actually come against Tuggeranong, so feel a bit unlucky if you're Mitch Stevens.
Well, here they go again. It's 4-on-3 briefly for Dominici. Piccolo tried to return the ball. Popovic made a great run outside. They are hungry for more.
And Sparrow's down.
Felici, will he kick it out of play? Well, Sparrow was down. Now he's got back up. Quite comical moment. He was having a sit down. I don't know if he was actually injured or just having a break. Here's Peterkin.
He definitely went down holding his ankle, but gee, he got up quick.
The miraculous recovery from Daniel Sparrow. Giorgio Girardello having a word with, that's a yellow card, in fact, for Felici, I think that is. For it must have been a late challenge on
Sparrow.
Sparrow, was it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yellow card for Daniel Felici, the first of the evening. It's a coach killer for Mitch Stevens, though, isn't it? All his hard work at half-time, and they were only 1-0, they're still in the game. And then within the space of 180 seconds, they concede twice. And now staring down the barrel. And this goal difference will put them bottom of the table after 2 rounds for what it's worth. Sparrow.
It's a great ball.
Switch to Dominici, who's in the mood. There's the commentator's curse for you.
Yeah. But yeah, Sparrow. This is probably something that's going through Rob's mind at the moment now. Is we've got the Olympic, got the game on Saturday. He's already lost a senior player in Ulrich. Does he continue on with Sparrow favouring one leg? Even players like Dominici and Popovic, how long do you give them before you rest them up for the weekend?
Well, with the spaces that are opening up in that attack, you think someone like Seb Woods would be licking his lips at the prospect of perhaps getting on and having a run at this Tuggeranong defence?
Absolutely, he would. And he'd cause a lot of issues up front too.
Here's Faust. Heggie tries to roll his marker. Doherty. He really needs to lead by example now. Cam Doherty, the Tuggeranong skipper.
Having said that, I don't think it's going to be an easy task to get Popovic or Dominici off the pitch anytime soon.
Well, especially not Dominici on a hat-trick. That incredible record, as I said, this is his 135th NPL game. He now has 129 goals to his name. Almost a goal a game, which is phenomenal.
Over a long period of time too. So that's, yeah, he always tells me he's the best player in the comp. No, just joking. But arguable.
Yeah, will he be up there for sure?
Oh, absolutely. And myself and Gabby, that were fortunate enough to coach him, I don't think we'd swap him with too many players.
Chirek played that to himself, and as Truman was offside, flag rightly stayed down. Chance here for Felici in the penalty area. Can he get the shot away? Paraskos was back to deny him. Still glimpses from Tuggeranong.
And they need to be, because they front up against Woden on the weekend. They can't go into their shell. At the same time, they can't afford to concede another 2-3 goals and really capitulate. So big task now for the boys in green, and they need to really sort of play this next sort of 35 whatever minutes to go with an eye on the weekend as well.
Wiseman needs to be careful. And it is a young Tuggeranong side as well, and if Mitch Stevens can keep this group together through this truncated season, a bit like Woden Western as well with their young group, and then you can work on it again next year and you come back fighting.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, the safety net is there's no relegation this year. Now, I'm not a fan of that, but at the same time, that's a really big safety net for a lot of the young teams coming through, and this gives them an opportunity to play an abridged version of the season, get their experience up, and then tackle next season with some real knowledge and know-how.
Sparrow lining one up from range. Gets his way past a couple, loses out in the end. But with all these sides blooding these young players as well, next season when relegation does come in, if it is back in, which I think it will be, that fight at both ends of the table is going to be epic for everybody interested in football in Canberra.
And everyone would love to see it. I mean, and we know there's some very good sides in NPL1.
NPL2.
NPL2, or whatever we're calling it this week. Your O'Connors, your Queen Cities, your White Eagles, your ANUs. They're all good quality sides that if they did make if they've made their way into NPL1, with just some strengthening of their squads, they're going to be very competitive.
Heggie pokes that through. Walsh gets rid of it. And we've seen in the first couple of weeks of NPL2 as well that Ugali and Wagga City Wanderers have stood up as well to be counted.
Yeah, I've seen those results, and that's really good. I mean, and that's all you can ask for. Like, you want competitive competitions. You want teams to be accountable. You want the carrot to be dangled for teams in lower grades to be able to move up. And I think that just makes a better competition.
This is the here and now, though. Olympic 3-0 up, coasting towards 3 points at the moment. Dominici looking to slide it through towards Piccolo, who'd made the run. Walsh was at the back to help out. Here's Coggin looking to accelerate into the final third, but a little tug on the shirt gives Olympic an easy out.
Seb Woods seems to be warming up over there, Russ.
Love watching him play. Carries the ball superbly well at pace. Good feet.
I love the kid too. Fortunate enough to work with him last year, and great kid, great attitude, good family. Yeah, got a lot to look forward to.
Here's Nick Faust bursting forward, looking for an option in the penalty area. Dominici didn't take it first time. Still dancing his way in. And missed an opportunity for a treble.
There was his hat-trick there, really. Brilliant work, Nick Faust. Great ball across the face of goal too.
Possibly should have taken it first time. Dominici used the pace of the ball.
That's a bit dangerous over that side.
Well, Giorgio Girardelli having a word with Eddie Coggin. Innocence personified, Eddie Coggin, in that instance. What did I do, he said.
Yeah.
I think he knows fully well what he did. Linstead at the back. Largely untroubled in the second half. Tuggeranong not being able to break that offside trap that they threatened to do so on numerous occasions in the first 45 minutes. Oh, terrible clearance from Larkin though, and here's a chance for Tuggeranong, but Chirek couldn't return the pass to Felici.
And that's the second poor clearance from Rory tonight. And it's something that he usually does pretty well, so you can just see him practicing his kicking there. So
is it a concentration thing perhaps?
Potentially. Maybe his headband's too
tight. A mistake here, and here's Dominici bearing down on goal. Is this the treble? It surely should be, and it inevitably is. Once a mistake was made, he was never going to miss that. Another goal for Stephen Dominici, a hat-trick, and Canberra Olympic are home and host.
Looks that way, Russ, and great finish there from Stephen Dominici. What a great player, and composed, took the extra touch, beat the keeper. I feel for Wiseman because he really hasn't done anything wrong tonight, but he's on the receiving end of 4 goals already.
Less than an hour played. Hat-trick for Stephen Dominici. Canberra Olympic in cruise control. You could just see the confidence. As soon as he picked it up, he never looked like missing, did he? Took his time, rounded Wiseman, and just rolled it into the net. United making a change. Sean Kiddie given the run.
I think it's Daniel Felici, I think, is making way.
It's been a devastating spell at the start of the second half, hasn't it? 13 minutes of football, and Canberra Olympic have blown Tuggeranong off the park.
To be perfectly honest, I was a bit surprised to see Kiddie not starting tonight.
We'll come back to that point in a minute, because here they go again. Dominici chasing after this one. He'll be chasing down that goal of game record, which I was saying he's not far off now, is he? Wiseman, oh dear, what are they doing here, Tuggeranong? That was almost an absolute disaster again. And Nick Popovich nearly was presented with an early Christmas present. And Tuggeranong need to calm down here, or it could get very, very messy indeed. Frank Cation mentioned a 6-0 away win a few moons ago.
Sevy Wood's about to come on.
Who's getting hauled? Nobody looks keen. It's a Heggie. Does that surprise you? A new signing that's perhaps looking for a goal to be pulled at this stage when you've got Monero to play on the weekend as well?
Potentially, yeah. I suppose it does a little bit. I would have even maybe just given him a bit of a run up top in that just number 9 position, just to see if he can get his name on the score sheet.
He's a confidence player, isn't he? So Heggie as well. When he's on form.
Most players are though, Russ. I mean, even Stephen, first half when he was frustrated, couldn't buy a chance and couldn't take his goal. Now he's got 3 and looking for more.
Opportunity there for Seb Woods to show us what he's got, and he's got 3 NPL goals to his name. Scored on the opening day of the season off the bench. Bags of talent. And you'd think with half an hour to go he's going to get plenty of opportunity to run at this Tuggeranong back 4.
Yeah, to be perfectly honest, Russ, we've got an opinion. We had an opinion about him last year where we don't know if he's actually going to stay as a striker or a winger. I think the way he plays and his build and the way how tenacious he is, I think sooner or later he'll find his way into the middle of the park, and that's probably where he'll make his name.
Given a wide brief this evening, Popovich tried to let that go. Bunel came across. Lovely football from Olympic, and Piccolo tried to spread that.
The wrong way,
didn't quite work. And Truman still battling away with Paraskos. Well, hand in the face there as well.
Not real clever there.
Teenage angst.
Keep an eye on that.
Still having a go off the ball with each other there. Dimi Paraskos not want to take a backward step either, to be fair.
You're 4-0 up. There's probably no need. Smile and walk away. But just back to Seb Woods. I think his opportunity will come in the middle of the park.
And here we go again, and Harry Truman is not a happy boy right now. Him and Paraskos having a little bit of a running battle, and George Girardello needs to get a hold of this one, trying to calm things down.
Good leadership from Daniel Sparrow just to get Paraskos away. Even Calabria there showing some really good leadership. Just get him out of there, doesn't need to be part of that.
Chirek looking to turn Lindstead, wins his side a corner. Attacking threats from Tuggeranong been few and far between so far in the second half. Here's the chance for Regan Walsh to deliver something. First things first for United, they'll be looking for their first goal of the season.
And probably demonstrates just how important and what a good record Stephen Dominici does have. You know, over 100 odd games, nearly a goal a game for over 100 odd games, and yet there are a couple of teams in the competition that still haven't been able to score yet.
Swung towards the far post, Larkin comes, good fist, falls as far as Doherty. Tries his luck, that's taken a deflection as well, and it's a corner again.
And that's a good strike from Cameron Doherty. Good punch from Roy initially, but yeah, good strike from Cam. And
you're talking about goals though, Frank. 95 appearances, yet to get one in NPL.
Yeah, maybe pass next time, Cam.
Walsh swings it into the near post, good corner as well. Will he be able to keep this in? He can't in the end.
But what a servant Cam Doherty's been for Tuggeranong. We spoke a little bit on the weekend about players with loyalty and that have stayed at the one club. He's been outstanding ever since he's been in the Tuggeranong shirt.
Well, finger crossed for him, barring injuries, he will bring up a century of NPL games this year, which is quite an achievement. Dominici goes down under the challenge of Nick Felici. One way to stop him, I suppose. Well, that hat-trick puts Stephen Dominici joint level at the top of the Golden Boot chase with Julian Borgner. Here comes Popovic, running at Walsh rather. This is Kitty, looking to send it forward. Paraskos. Sparrow. Switch to Forst. Comes in field. Tuggeranong look to work it out, and they do so well. But Truman beaten to it by Sparrow. And Mitch Stevens will be hoping his young striker keeps his head here as well, won't he, Frank? For already lost guy with suspension.
Well, Mitch can actually make that decision for him if he really wants to. If he's got an eye on Woden this weekend and he wants this young lad to start, he can take that out of the equation and just have a word to him. Bring him off, get him ready for the weekend, and take it from there.
Doherty. Kitty advancing forward, Popovic tracking back, winning the ball.
We mentioned that on the weekend as well, Russ, with Kalfas being on a yellow. We spoke about what Dean might do at half time, and no one's going to question the calibre of coaches of your Greenwich or Stevens, but this is where they've got to make decisions if they think players can't control themselves.
Well, he seems to have calmed down a bit since his tete-a-tete with Dimi Paraskos. Like I said, in some respects it's good you get a youngster like that that's ready to mix it with the more seasoned players in the NPL on a physical level. If you just tuned in, you're watching live midweek football on Bar TV Sports, midway through the second half here at the AIS, a Tuggeranong United home game. But it feels like a Canberra Olympic stroll towards 3 points at the moment, although Tuggeranong almost gifted away back into it. It's 4-0, a hat-trick from Stephen Dominici, a goal from Nick Popovic. Three of them coming in a 30-minute spell at the start of the second half.
And lucky to get away with that one, actually. Colgan bearing down on Michael South when he lost his feet in the box. It's those little breaks that can make a difference for the confidence of these Tuggeranong boys. If they do walk away, 4-1, 4-2 down at the end of this day, rather than sort of, if they concede any more, it gives them some momentum moving into that game on the weekend.
As you mentioned, Canberra Olympic like this pitch. Like scoring goals on it.
Yeah. We used to play the Institute here a lot too.
Chirek's through ball didn't quite come off. Touch from Dominici to Popovic. Great turn as well. He's got Dominici running ahead of him. Wiseman came to make a decision. Pretty good one in the end.
Robbie might look at using his last bench player as well soon. Looking at his clock, going to talk to the young guys.
It's got Dylan Natulu and Jordan Keisha on the bench. Linstead finds Southam. Dominici's little touch. Here's Kitty looking to slide it through. Truman had gone early. Flag will go up if he gets anywhere near this, you'd imagine. Southam. Paraskos. Oh, and there's a loose pass as well, and a chance for Ewan Peterkin perhaps to burst into the penalty area. Truman in support. Smith. Felici. Ball spread wide by Doherty to Kitty, who's got a lot of space here to load something up for Tuggeranong.
Nick Felici's holding a calf by the looks of things.
May have overstretched, or did he catch a knock, do you think?
I think he just called a bit of a knock there from Daniel Sparrow. It looks like Dylan Atolu might be coming on for Olympic.
Tuggeranong look like they're readying substitutes as well. There is a change.
Stephen Dominici.
Stephen Dominici is off. 130 goals he's now got in NPL after his hat-trick tonight. Job very well done from his point of view.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be telling me about it later. Maybe even telling you, Russ. And that doesn't look good for Nick Felici.
It doesn't, does it? Another player into the unavailable list for Mitch Stevens. It's got Jamie Vienkum or young Van Newen to pick from. Not sure who he selected yet. Jamie Vienkum with a lot more experience. But it doesn't look good for Nick Felici. And that's not good news for Tuggeranong ahead of the big match for them on the weekend at Melrose on Saturday, 3:45 against Woden Western Football Club.
And that's obviously a must-win for both those sides. They're now looking at down the barrel of 0 points after 2 matches. So to be any hope of making that top 4, they need to be picking up those 3 points on the weekend.
Jamie Vienkum is the substitute that's come on. Let's hope for Nick Felici that that's something that can clear up quickly for him. You never want to see players injured, do you? But especially in a short season where we've been waiting so long to get out on the park to have a game and a half.
Yeah, hopefully it's just a knock and not a muscle tear or anything like that.
One by Peterkin. Flicked on and a chance here for John O'Churek. Can he get a shot away? And tried to find Coggin instead. Set up nicely. I thought he might pull the trigger for a moment there, Churek. Here's Popovic. Calabria. Popovic. Piccolo. Atulu. Woods. Neat build up this. Comes to nothing in the end. Woods snapping at the heels of Truman, trying to win it back. And United happy to send it up the other end of the park. It's a Tulu. Allowed to turn. Popovic. Piccolo. Forced. Lovely switch and change of direction. And Kitty is caught. And that'll be a free kick to Tuggeranong. Neat and tidy, though, football from those in blue.
And it hasn't been a spiteful game at all, either, apart from the little sort of run-in between Truman and Paraskos. It's actually, to be honest, I think every game this year that I've seen has been played in really good spirit.
I'll definitely echo those thoughts. I've had a few red cards. Oh, there's another mistake by Tuggeranong and a chance for Piccolo, and he goes for the chip. Nick Popovic throws his head up in the air. Bunel comes forwards. Can Truman keep this in? Just a bit too far ahead of him. But there are signs going forward, Frank, that Tuggeranong may cause some problems to some teams this season.
Well, I watched them against Cooma just on the coverage, and I thought, even with 10 men, I thought they gave a pretty good account of themselves, and I'm sure, and I think Mitch mentioned that in the coverage last week. So it's not all doom and gloom for Tuggeranong.
Well, they are copying a little bit of a Canberra Olympic backlash here as well, having lost the opening game of the season. And they didn't play particularly well, Canberra Olympic, on that day, did they? We weren't overly impressed.
No.
Belconnen United shut them down in good areas and did enough to win the game themselves.
Yeah, I thought Belconnen gave as good as they got, and I thought Paul Makel really sort of stamped himself again as one of the preeminent coaches in the competition. I thought he drilled his side beautifully.
Made some fantastic signings in key positions as well, hasn't he? Over at the Blue Devils.
And they're reaping the benefits. They've picked up 3 players that would pretty much walk into most clubs. Darren Bailey, Jordan Thurtell, and Kofi Danning. And then you've got the young ones coming through. Luca Flores is now 2-2, and deriving a lot of confidence after an NYL season.
Blue Devils will be here on Sunday afternoon against Gungahlin United. That'll be a test of their title credentials.
And it's a very big game in that if Belconnen can get over the top of Gungahlin or even draw with Gungahlin, they've still got the march on them. Gungahlin are sitting on 4 points, Belconnen on 6. I'm sure Paul will be saying if we can be 7-5 or 9-4, we're almost assured of a top 4 spot.
Great ball from Piccolo. Fed across goal by Calabria first time.
It's a good ball from Josh Calabria.
Was just an inch away or two from Popovic getting his second of the evening. Some big matches on the weekend. That's one of them. Mentioned Tuggeranong earlier. We're at O'Connor for Canberra Olympic Monero Panthers, which is a very important game for both those sides as well. And of course on Sunday afternoon at Nijong Oval with Tigers FC versus Canberra Croatia, which is always a game that brings talking points. And remember a game down there a couple of seasons ago where Canberra, where the Tigers were up about 5-1 at half time and lost 8-5. It was a remarkable afternoon's football, something like that anyway, 7-5 or incredible day.
Yeah, it was.
Looked like it was at half time. It looked like the Tigers could score as many as they wanted, and whatever they did at half time in that Canberra FC dressing room as they were then. And Thomas James,
that was in 2015. I remember that because I think us and Deacon at the time were sort of grappling for those top 4 spots, and Deacon had sort of kicked away, and I think the door was a little bit open there at half time and then
slammed shut very much.
Slammed shut in a big way.
Of all the football matches I've seen in Canberra, it's got to be the most incredible one that switched from one extreme to the other over 45 minutes. You wouldn't have picked it.
And the other game, like that Monero Olympic game at O'Connor, Monero have got an outstanding record at O'Connor over the last few seasons. They've won at least twice out of the last 2-3 years.
Walsh with the free kick, swings it in towards the far post. Good headed clearance by Nick Forst. And Jimmy Canaridi's got himself a good little team there as well. They've been extremely unlucky not to get anything from their first 2 matches of the campaign. And they'll be champing at the bit to get some points on the board. Here's Popovic for Woods. Skips away from the challenge of Smith. Has he got the legs to get away from Bunel? Sends it across.
Seb Woods
he's gone down in a heap.
He's a tough little character though. But yeah, he had a big hip operation over the off season, Russ. So
we'll keep an eye on that off the ball. Here's Coggin into the penalty area at the other end, winning a corner.
I think he fractured his hip at training, at doing NYL stuff, I believe.
Just jogging back into view now.
Yeah, but I think anyone that sees Sebi sort of holding his hip at Olympic will be sort of cringing a bit.
Yeah, holding their breath and hoping for the best. I'm quite impressed by young Harrison Bunell at the back, though. He's stuck to his guns. Walking into the penalty area now to add another body. Walsh going late. Kitty wants it short. Upshot is another corner. Inside the final 13 minutes. The outcome of the points long since decided, barring a miraculous recovery from Tuggeranong in the last quarter of an hour or so. And here's a chance. And it might be off the line. Is it gone in? It is. It's a goal for Tuggeranong United. They have pulled one back. And it may well be young Truman who's got it.
Initially a great save there from Rory Larkin from a header, but then the rebound has gone back to look like Truman.
It was Truman.
Yep. Desperate effort on the blind. Well, obviously just behind the line from either. I think it might have been forced. But linesman on the opposite side of the field has judged that going over the line, and 4-1. So well done Tuggeranong to get themselves back a goal. And now it's important for Olympic to again consolidate, maintain a good level, a good standard, and not fall into the trap of conceding another one.
First ever NPL goal for Harry Truman.
And based on tonight, it won't be his last. He's put himself about, and he looks a good prospect.
Tuggeranong, since going 4-0 down, showing a bit of mettle here. Venkum in midfield. Chirek, who's dropped back to help out in the absence of Nick Felizi. Smith finds Walsh. Kitty wide. When he's coughed up possession now, Popovic is chasing. And there's young Bunell again.
Inside the last 10 minutes now, Russ. And this is the the little challenge that Mitch can set his players now is if they can pull another one back, then they take a lot of momentum into the Woden game.
It's good to get that first goal of the season, isn't it? Get the monkey off the back. Woden's still waiting for that, of course, having drawn blanks in their first two matches of the campaign. Kitty. Peterkin. Here's Truman, the goal scorer. Peterkin took his eye off the ball, and it's a late challenge by Doherty. Leaves Piccolo in a heap. George Girardello wants a quick word. Untidy challenge, I think we'll say.
Been one of, I think, Michael Piccolo's better performances in an Olympic shirt. He's been really busy all season, but I think tonight the way he's managed to get himself forward and create opportunities and make opportunities for himself has really underlined his performance.
Sam Smith is going off, and this is a big moment for Van Nguyen. Came up from State League from Tuggeranong to train in their Premier League squad this year. His goal at the start of the season was just to get any sort of minutes in Premier League, he told Mitch Stevens. And here he is.
Well, congratulations.
Forced his way into the squad and gets 10 minutes.
Good on him. And we'll keep an eye on him for the next 10 minutes. And he can be on YouTube and keep on replaying this last 10 minutes. And we'll say nice things about him, Russ.
It's a bit short for Larkin, and he let the bounce. It's great, though, isn't it? That he just wanted that ambition to get a first-grade game on his belt. And you never know. You might have many, many more to come.
Yeah, exactly right. And that's a fantastic attitude.
Great run this from Kitty, gets a corner.
Definitely lifted though, Tuggeranong.
It's amazing what a goal does, doesn't it? Just gives you that little bit of momentum. Yeah, I think, and obviously this is not a reflection of Dylan Atolu, but ever since Dominici has come off, I think Olympic have dropped down a little bit and not looked anywhere near as dangerous as they have previously. They need to defend. The last corner that Tuggeranong had ended up in the net. That one swung in. Larkin's got a punch on it. Here's Coggan. Another chance to deliver. Across the face of goal. Woods knocked it back towards his own goal for a moment, and it's another corner. It was an interesting clearance.
Not Sebi's finest moment. No.
Well, Tuggeranong keep, to their credit, keep battling away. Doherty's gone short. Back to Walsh. Change the angle slightly to the near post.
And that's a dangerous ball in there. That can so often slide off a defender's foot and just go straight past the goalkeeper who's got no hope.
Well, Newen's still looking for his first touch. Here it is.
He's looking fit, I think, Regan Walsh this year. Fitter, at least fitter, I think.
Vinkham swings it in. Big onus on players like Walsh and Doherty and Sean Kiddie at this football club at Tuggeranong to lead by example with this group of youngsters as well, especially in situations like this where they found themselves 4-0 down and staring down what could have been a really hefty defeat.
Yeah, absolutely, and they need to lead from by example and lead from the front. And realistically, I mean, you can't ask for two better servants of the club.
Here's Bunel. I'm sure he'll come on leaps and bounds, having enjoyed this experience tonight. Kiddie. Vinkham wide. Coggan tried to roll his marker, but was never getting away. Atulu. Robbed by Doherty. Walsh back to Doherty again. Peterkin. Showed too much of that to Seb Woods, but Woods didn't play the ball in the end.
That was a bit untidy as well. And you know what? When you said untidy before, I think it's been untidy for about the last 10 minutes, Russ, to be honest. I think once the game was decided, I think both teams have...
Yeah, Tuggeranong have sensed that Olympic have stepped off the gas a little bit here, I think, and they're pushing forward.
It's sort of cue in the rack time, isn't it?
But once Dominici made it 4, there was never really any doubt about where the points were going. Good ball in towards the penalty area, but Larkin was there. He's got a big throw, Larkin. We thought he was going to see it for a moment. Instead, he's going to launch this one. He'll drop kick down the field. Nobody in a blue shirt anywhere near Regan Walsh. Trapping practice.
Well, if he's good, Rory's good with his hands as far as throwing. He's probably more accurate as well.
That's a good ball through, and it might fall for Turek here. Cutting inside, chance for Jono. Turek, decent save. Larkin rebounds there, and somehow Olympic survive as Coggan swung that right boot. King of Canberra TikTok couldn't find the back of the net.
Big chance there again for Tuggeranong. And they've been quite dominant for the last sort of five minutes at least. A number of corners, a number of opportunities to shoot on target. Olympic have sort of looked like they're sort of done for the night.
Swung in towards the far post. Turek was up as well. Under 5 minutes to go. Tuggeranong finishing strongly. And that'll please Mitch Stevens.
Yeah, and I'll tell you now, it'll please Jimmy Canarides as well. If he's sitting there watching it, he'll start picking holes in some of these defensive patterns that Olympic are putting up at the moment.
Calabria hoiks that one into the night sky. It's going to come straight back though. Tries to swing this one in. Decent ball in as well, and a great headed clearance by Lindstedt. Needed to be, because that was a beautiful cross. Still not away. Here's Newen. Got the 1-2 off Girardello to Coggan in the area. United still not done, but Lindsted's in the way. Woods, did he leave a foot a bit high there? Girardello saw it. Might be lucky not to get a yellow card here, young Seb Woods. He doesn't escape that sanction. Just a bit of a loose touch, Frank.
It was. I don't think there was any intent of hurting the Tuggeranong player, but yeah, we've seen those sort of challenges definitely receive yellows. We've even seen sometimes receive worse if they go a little bit over the ball. And Seb just looks a bit frustrated at the moment, to be honest.
Not quite the impact he would have wanted, I don't think. As an attacking force, they've gone off the ball. And here's a chance for Tuggeranong with a couple of minutes remaining for Walsh to perhaps test Rory Larkin. Cam Doherty stood over several of these tonight with Regan Walsh and hasn't been given a kick. Gets this one though. And Larkin prevents the corner.
You can now hear Josh Calabria getting amongst the players, showing some leadership.
Walsh played it forwards. Here's Woods. Forced. Doherty has it for Tuggeranong. Newen back to Walsh. Wiseman a long way from goal. Kiddy. United working it from one side of the pitch to the other. He's shown too much of that to Nick Popovic, Sean Kiddy. Piccolo's ahead. Walsh was there covering. Kiddy again. Looked lovely since he's come on.
Like I said, I was surprised. And
come back to that in just a second as Truman looks to go through the middle.
Sean Kiddy's always been one of those players that I think any opposition coach looks at in the lineup and thinks, all right, long throws, 100% effort the whole time, never gives up on a ball, always forceful in the challenge. I think he'd be pressing pretty hard to find his way back into this side.
Here's Walsh. Peterkin. Now Doherty to Kiddy. Olympic back in numbers. The line looks pretty strong across the back. Doherty. Walsh. Lifted in and on the stretch was Jamie Vienkum. Couldn't get there. We're into stoppage time at the end of the match.
And looks like Robbie Catanach will get his first win as an Olympic or as a first grade coach.
3 important points ahead of the weekend. If you were coach of Canberra Olympic now, what's the plan for the rest of the week, Frank? Do they recover tomorrow and have a session Friday? What do you do ahead of a Saturday game, having played on a Wednesday night?
Wow, put me on the spot.
Well, you've been there before, I'm sure, with the FFA Cup and all sorts of stuff like that.
Probably do recovery tomorrow.
Hold that thought for a second as Seb Woods is taking on Newen. Easy for Wiseman.
To be perfectly honest, if it was me, I would have almost tried to get a recovery session in tonight and then something really light tomorrow and then give them Friday off.
They go again quickly on the weekend, and you can join myself and Frank O'Connor for Canberra Olympic versus Monero Panthers. Minute plus of stoppage time gone.
Sparrow just stretching out a calf by the looks of things. He just copped a knock there.
It's got a bit colder, hasn't it?
It has.
Over the last half an hour or so. Of course, for these players, they're not allowed to use the showers and changing rooms here, are they? They've got to get in and get out. So I'm sure there'll be some heaters going on in the car trying to warm up some muscles. Ball into towards Seb Woods. It's going to find its way to Faust, who busts one towards goal. Eyes lit up for a moment there, the fullback. Figured like he wanted to add his name to this tally. Probably not going to get the opportunity to do so. 2 minutes of stoppage time gone. Canberra Olympic on the way to their first 3 points of the campaign. Vienkum in midfield. Good pressure from Paraskos and Aitulu in the first place. United scrambling around. Southam was there. It's a decent ball towards Woods if he can keep this in play. He's got the legs to get there, Seb Woods. Plenty to do for him from this position though. What's he got up his sleeves? He found Piccolo. Nice ball in towards Popovic. Thought about the first time shot.
Yeah, again, good interplay between Piccolo and Popovic.
Faust wins it back. Atulu that was on the run. Sparrow. Woods.
Lovely.
Good ball around the corner. And chance for Olympic to fizz this across the 6-yard box again. And here's a chance for Paraskos to hit one. And he buries it into the bottom corner. The last word goes to Canberra Olympic. Jimmy Paraskos with a goal. It's 5 alive and they're cruising to the points.
Again, really good play down the wing to Nick Forst. Excellent ball across the face of goal and a well taken finish there from Jimmy Paraskos. I feel Wiseman might have been a little bit unsighted there with players in front of him, bounced just in front by the looks. But yeah, a really well taken goal from young Paraskos.
A first Premier League goal of his career as well. It's come in the 94th minute. And it's pretty much going to be the last kick of the game, you'd think. There can't be too long to go. Flick on towards Truman in the area. Played 49 minutes now, Frank. I'm not sure where all this has come from.
About to go.
Georgia Gerardale is looking at her watch again. Roy Larkin pumps it down the field. Harrison Bunell had the final touch, but in the end, it was Canberra Olympic who were too strong, Frank, and they thoroughly deserved their 3 points.
Yeah, and I suppose the second half probably underlined the dominance that they showed in the beginning of the first half, but the difference is probably just a bit of quality at the front. At the front, people like Popovic, Dominici especially with a hat-trick. Piccolo I thought was outstanding, as was Daniel Sparrow and Josh Calabria.
Well, thanks for your company again, Frank, tonight. Look forward to talking to you again on the weekend. I hope you enjoyed this midweek action from the AIS, where Tuggeranong United, the home side, have been taught a bit of a football lesson from Canberra Olympic, and most of it has come from Stephen Dominici. A hat-trick for the number 10, taking his Premier League totals of 130 goals in 135 games. Nick Popovic also added his name to the score sheet. There was a debut NPL goal for Harry Truman in only his second appearance, and Dimi Paraskos had the final word in stoppage time. The full-time score, the AIS, Tuggeranong United 1, Canberra Olympic 5.